Welcome to the Nerd Culture's Dead podcast. I am your host and thoroughly a nerd, Zac. Today's topic is going to be an Elden Ring discussion. And our guests for today are going to be Jason from Togg Roleplay, Oscar at Emwell Rivera, and Logan, kind of also from Togg Roleplay, kind of not. He's complicated, but he's a cool guy.
Second part's not true.
And also sitting to the side of us is going to be Jen from Nerd Culture's Dead, although probably not going to take part in the discussion.
I will chime in if I see fit.
Very well. So, Elden Ring, guys. Have you guys gotten good? How do you like the game?
I haven't played an Elden Ring game since the second, not Elden Ring, but
Dark Souls?
I haven't played a Dark Souls game since the second one, and I debated about this game very hardly. And then I spoke with a couple of friends that are like, listen, if you haven't played a Dark Souls game in a while, I'd recommend it. You're going to lose a lot of time, but you're going to enjoy it because you can play it any way you want. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'll drop the $60 and start playing it. Yeah, oh my god, the game is so gorgeous.
I agree. I love it. I am a Souls virgin. So Elden Ring is my first Souls game.
So you're being ripped apart.
And, well, no, because I'm, like Oscar said, I'm playing it the way I like to play games like this. I grew up on, like, Final Fantasy and, like, the original Final Fantasies and all that. And my thing is, I love to just go out there and grind for XP, get powerful, and then kind of experience the story of the game at that point, knowing that, okay, even if I suck ass...
Which you do, probably.
Which I do. I can, handle the boss because I'm over-leveled. And that way I can continue on in the story and really enjoy the story. And that's what I've been doing here, is I've grinded a lot. I spent some time just exploring and enjoying what they put out there. And, you can ask Logan. I'm getting better.
He is, yeah.
I'm getting better.
So what do you think about the game, Logan?
I'd say just first impressions after playing for the first few weeks it's been out, I'd give it a strong 8.5 out of 10. Now, most people would probably be pretty, controversial on that, like, what, you give it an 8.5 out of 10, not a 20 out of 10, right? That's because I think the game does exactly what it says that it's going to do when they advertised it, right? Awesome. Most games aren't even finished when they release. And it's thoroughly enjoyable, but I've started to recognize some patterns that I don't quite like towards the end game, and I feel like my observations are not based on feelings, but on patterns that I've come to realize based on previous Souls games, because I have beaten all the normal Souls games, save Demon Souls.
Okay. See, I come from a background where I've played and beaten all of the Souls games. Absolutely loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I admire about this game the most is the crafted world.
Yeah.
It feels like this is the best world that we have been in since Morrowind. Just in terms of sheer design. I don't think anyone has come close to creating such a full and expansive open world like this. There's so many layers to the game where, quite literally, there's depth in this open world rather than in any other open world game where you're going to go around and it's just an empty fucking city.
I can certainly agree on that. I think it's noticeable, the influence that having George R. R. Martin had on this world, for sure.
I will say, though, just the variety of choosing a class when you begin has just made the game a whole much better for a lot of new players, because they're like, the first player, if you've never played a Souls game, they're like, what do you want to build? If you want to just go warrior, just go samurai and just start off the game and just start hacking and slashing and build decks. But the one thing that I will say as like a piece of advice to people that have never played this game before, bleed and hack and slash will get you so far to where a boss will be like, oh, you do bleed damage? Cool, I'm resistant. Have fun killing me now.
I've experienced that, yeah.
Well, I kind of got to disagree with you there, where I don't think it's freedom of choice in the class variety, because that's always existed in Dark Souls, even going back to Demon Souls, the originator of it all. You always had those options of, here's your typical dex build, here's the knight, here's the pyromancer, here's the cleric, here's the sorcerer, here's the naked dude with a stick. That has always been in Dark Souls. I think what's given this game a leg up is, with it being open world, you can run to the hardest area for the original part of the game, Caelid, go grab the meteor staff and the rock sling sorcery, and just have that carry you to the mid game.
Which is what the fuck I'm doing. I've got the meteorite staff. I've got rock sling, and because that Logan told me this earlier. He was like, "Dude, you started with the sorcerer for your first Souls game. You trying to play in hard mode, you know?"
Yeah, which I was wrong on. I'll admit, in Elden Ring, sorceries have been
They're OP as
they're
fuck.
boosted. They're
Hell
very
yeah.
strong, and I respect it. I'm not saying don't play sorceries, but they can kick some serious ass.
Yeah, and
In
I
the early game, they're easily the strongest starting area.
well, yeah, and I will say the only thing is I have noticed that because I am not a strength or a vigor build,
You get one
I
shot.
can get one shot pretty quick. But if I can stay out of the fight, I can avoid damage. Those the meteorite staff and the rock sling spell, I can wreck shit. And then I also managed to get my hands on I can't remember the name of the sword, but it is awesome.
Sort of Night and Flame.
Night and Flame. Oh
That
my
sword-
god, that Ashes of War where it
Yeah.
where it shoots the beam of energy.
That sort
So
of
OP.
I respect a little less, just because I do view that sort of a bit as easy mode.
Yeah.
It does take out bosses on average, maybe 3 or 4 uses of that
Mhm.
Ash of War, which I think, again, play the game at your own pace, but I
Yeah.
myself don't like it. I've also fallen victim to PvP against it, and it was not fun.
Not even that. You can get there's I don't know if it's like a charm or something, but there's a charm that says you do not waste your mana when you cast the spell. That's why you see those videos of those people just Gatling gunning a boss.
Right, I think I know
yeah.
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about, yeah.
which I'm like, but to me, I like the ability of just like running around, getting on the horse, stabbing, using
Yeah.
your ash,
Yeah.
run around some more, heal in the corner, go back, shoot a couple arrows to distract him from
Yep.
your ash. Which I will say, the mimic ash,
It is
Mm.
amazing.
chef's kiss.
No,
Chef's kiss on
the
that
mimic
one.
summon is so broken.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
still
fact that
don't
it
know
uses your HP instead of your FP.
Yeah.
Not even that. You can build a whole nother build with your character set and have 2 different characters fighting in the game. Like I can do bleed for my end, but I can also, since I did intelligence, I can also do magic.
Mhm.
So I can set up my mimic to just be casting rock sling as I'm going in bleeding at the boss.
Mm.
Which is
Just to
pretty
get-
smart.
Which
Yeah.
is to get range and close up, which is
Yeah, that's nice.
that's finessing
nice.
the boss real nice.
I love how they took the worst boss in the game and turned it into the best summon.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of the meme.
So do you want to know of some, quick detour, fun fact about the Mimic boss fight, right? I don't advise...
Spoilers, by the way. We're talking about bosses.
Yeah.
I don't advise doing this. I feel like it kind of defeats the fun of the fight because you can beat them just the same. But if you walk into the room,
Oh, yeah.
bare naked, no items, no clothes, nothing, the Mimic will stay that way and then you can re-equip and just waste it, which, don't do that. Just don't do that.
Well, when I did the mimic, I didn't do that. What really helped out was I got those 2 mechanical ashes that shoot the ones that in
The marionettes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2
marionettes.
marionettes that were just slinging arrows at him. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I know what my weaknesses are. As soon as he got distracted, I went up behind him, backstabbed him, half, like 2/3 of the HP gone. I was like,
Right.
yes,
Mhm.
keep distracting the boy.
There's definitely some balancing issues in the game, and I think,
See, that is what I wanted to touch on towards endgame.
yeah, because, I went into the fight at the Erdtree, right?
Like the main tree?
The main Erdtree, the king.
Oh,
Mm.
And were you fighting against, spoilers,
Yeah.
Morgott or Godfrey?
Morgred.
Okay, Morgott, okay.
Yeah, so go in there. You get to summon the basically Fire Maiden. in this
Yeah.
one, right?
Mhm.
Whatever her name is.
Melina.
starts with Melina.
Mhm.
Walk in. I have her already. Summon the Mimic tier.
Mhm.
Chug a potion. And I literally didn't have to do anything. They just won the battle on their own.
Yeah. Well, see, that's part of it, right?
The open world almost takes away from the Souls experience of grinding against a wall because of it.
Mm-hmm. And the Ash summons. So I feel like Ash summons might be built into the game a little too hard. For some bosses, they completely trivialize it, like you said. For others, it feels almost necessary. And it's just this odd balancing where it's like, a lot of bosses, you're like, are you really supposed to beat that on your own as a player? Or is it really encouraging you to use the ashes, which is not necessarily bad in and of itself, but...
Like all the gank bosses.
Yeah, certainly like the game bosses, or certain bosses where the camera is your biggest enemy, like
The gargoyles.
the gargoyles. Now,
where you find them all over the game once you get to mid.
yeah, I think my biggest issue, the reason I would give the game an 8.5 out of 10, I mentioned this at the beginning, the minus 1.5 points for me is Obviously, and I'm not going to go over them because every game has this at the start, but minor bugs, right? Some that aren't as minor that have made things pretty difficult. But the developers have touched on them, so we know that they're working on them. That's great. But also, endgame seems just a tad bit realistically unfair and redundant. And by that I mean, you could obviously just tell me get good, but again, I said I've beaten the Souls games, and I've beaten these areas. It's not that they are impossible, it's that they're not fun.
It's difficult for all the wrong reasons.
It's for all the wrong reasons, because let's say I usually play, at that point when I'm at these endgame areas, at least 40 in vigor, right? Which in Dark Souls 3 was the cap, but I'm pretty sure the cap is 55.
Soft cap is about 60 from what I've seen.
Well, no, so there's several soft caps.
Well,
in
yeah,
this
no,
game.
but like soft cap for from what I've seen, you know, I've watched a couple videos of other people playing, hearing their commentary and how they're playing and what their builds are. And one guy was all about, you know, trying to where does it really, where do you really get the soft cap? Where is it worth it to go? And it looked pretty much like 60 was the soft cap for pretty much everything.
Well,
all the stats.
That's the thing, is there is the average soft cap of around 60, but unlike other Souls games where there's like 2 soft caps per stat, there's actually like 3 in this game. So anyways, 40 is a pretty decent number for vigor. It's not
40
bad.
is well above average. Most people run around with 20 to 30.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm at 20.
I'm at 28 right now.
Yeah.
I am not.
So then,
up there.
when every significant enemy that isn't a low-level goon is two-shotting you, and you have to heal, back up and heal, every single time you are hit, keeping in mind, for my character's experience, I'm wearing like full plate armor, that it gets on your nerves a little bit. Sure, learn their moveset, but sometimes they throw some guy at you who's not only bigger than you, stronger than you, does half your health, he attacks faster than you with his greatsword, and then leaves you a 0.5 second window to punish him before he starts attacking again. Meanwhile, you can only stagger him with jumping attacks, and that enemy shows up 5 times in the area. It does get a little redundant, I will say. So that's my biggest criticism, is I think the end game is a little bit, this game's supposed to be unfair, so we're not going to care about how much the enemies can beat the ever-loving shit out of you.
It has the Dark Souls 1 problem, where everything up to the halfway point, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
From the second you leave the Asylum Demon all the way till you get through in Orlando, and you have to go collect the 4 Lord Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing game. Perfect. I think Elden Ring has that same problem, where the first half of the game is so varied, so dynamic, and so well done, that once you get to that halfway point, right, and you defeat that boss, it has to come downhill at some point.
It does. And it's really unfortunate. I will say, I read a post online and I really agreed with what they said. In any Souls game, I have never been jealous of a boss. Until now. Because some of those bosses will be moving so fast.
It's like they stuck
so
Bloodborne bosses in this game.
I would go so far to say, they designed a lot of this game more like Sekiro, except you don't have that advantage to your side where you can deflect blows with your sword and do, like the back and forth posture. Where in Sekiro, you could be both on the offense and defense at the same time. While they're attacking, you're defending, and then you're attacking. In Dark Souls, the pattern, and Dark Souls and Elden Ring as well, the pattern is always wait for their opening. Instead of attacking at the same time they're attacking.
It's hard to make your own opening when their poise stat is so high.
Everything's
and the only
poise
thing
stat,
that knocks their poise down is a great weapon.
A great weapon or
and
a
they're
jumping
so
attack.
slow.
And they're exactly.
Or rock sling.
Rock sling. Well, see, sorcerers again, they're another thing entirely.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll give Roxling its due.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I use that. I mean, that has been one of my saving graces in boss fights because, again, the couple bosses that I haven't progressed super far through the main story because I'm just enjoying going around.
Do we happen to know how many hours we have in the game offhand?
32 hours for me.
I'm going to seem like a no-life, maybe like 150.
I'm probably about the same as you, Oscar.
Yeah, I've been playing off and on because I'll hop on for a little bit, wait till my friends hop on and play a different game. And if everybody gets off or they just want to talk, I'll hop on Elden Ring while we're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm probably about 42 hours in. I'm level, I think, 98.
I'm up like 88, 90, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I have to grind a little bit more, but I'm around 70 because the thing is, with the build that I'm doing, after you have mainly the setup that you can get midway through the mid game where I'm at right now, you can't really do much for dexterity and bleed after you get, because I got all the weapons for it, which is the dagger that does blood. I have the ash that you can put on a sword that does blood. I have the 4 main katanas you can get in like the beginning mid area. I have that set up. Now it's just figuring out what armor am I going to wear, what charms am I going to use, what ash is going to be my support, basically when I can do certain bosses, which that doesn't come in helpful when you have to fucking fight Rodan 12 goddamn times, and this man one-shots you with a purple arrow from like 400 yards away, just goes sook, and then you're just like, oh my god.
No, see, that's what I was trying to talk about is that, it's like, the bosses I've been going up against, and I've been hitting some like mini bosses, side quest ones. Yeah. That's what I've been dealing with. Even these lower level, not true bosses of the main campaign. If I get hit once, I'm down, and I'm having to go back through and do it over again. But thanks to that rock sling and the Ash of War from the sword, that'll stagger him, and then I can maneuver and do stuff like that. But
actually, my friend told me a helpful tip. If you're doing a boss and you want to keep your runes close, die near the entrance where you start the boss fight. Because it just makes it easier. You can just go scoop it up real quick. Yeah. That way you won't lose your runes.
Exactly.
Unless you're fighting in the first castle, that guy, the guy who tells you there's a secret passageway to get to the king. Yeah. He steals your runes every time you die when you're in the castle.
Yep, I found out about that yesterday.
Yeah, so if you go back and kill him, you'll get the runes that he stole from you back.
Oh, nice.
And also, you can, so you know how there's different shopkeepers around the map?
Yeah.
And you know how there's like that one shop lady who collects spells at the round table?
Oh, yeah.
You can kill all the shopkeepers and keep all the shops at the round table, so you don't have to go to different parts of the map.
That's no fun.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to do it. I saw videos on it, I'm like, this is kind of pointless. Like, why would you kill someone that it just makes you travel and you get more runes on the way getting there and you get more experience?
I enjoy exploring the world. I enjoy exploring the world and looking at that kind of stuff, which I still haven't found the shop merchant that sells these sleep arrows.
Oh, that guy?
Still haven't found him.
He is, when you do the quest to find the guy who's up in the castle, who's sitting on a bench. Yeah. The shopkeeper that's at that fire pit, he sells the sleeping arrows.
Okay.
So
I need to get to that.
He's right next to the wind tunnel that launches you up, and if you aim it towards the tower, you can also get the turtle shield as well, which is a pretty good thing as well.
I've never gotten that before. That's neat.
Yeah, which that's the thing I love about this game, because I've beat the first and the second Dark Souls games, and I've played the older Dark Souls games. But like, this game has just opened my eyes to having it such a fun game, because listen, I played Sekiro, I love Sekiro. It's great. That's why they incorporated the samurai into this world. So if you like Sekiro, you can build Sekiro. It's just going to be a little bit different. Yeah. Like, for me, my friends tell me about this because they're like, listen, most of them have already beaten the game or have gotten close to endgame. They're like, listen, bleed will get you so far, but you need to put a little bit of something into magic or have like the right ashes on your weapons just so you can progress. So that's why I have the staff that you're carrying. Yeah. I got rock sling, baby. And that rock sling comes in clutch when you're doing a boss fight and you can't use ashes. Oh.
I'm going to entirely disagree with you here. This is the good old part of getting good. Yeah. You do not have to incorporate magic in order to
I was actually going to bring that up. The build that I'm going for, despite the trouble I've been having with the end game on this specific character, because I have beaten the game already, I'm just playing another one. Despite that trouble, again, there's reasons I think that trouble is happening, but I don't think resorting to any kind of magic would make it easier for me. Or it could make it easier for me, but I think, like Zach said, I just have to learn better timings on the weapons and everything, and also hopefully they fix the bug where my weapon does no damage.
Yeah. Like, for me, I've ever since I got to the Southern Peninsula and I beat the little boss on the very bottom of the map with the giant sword, and I got the sword made of swords.
The Game of Thrones sword, yeah.
I have not put down that sword since I got it. I have 60 strength, 20 dex, and I have been doing nothing but leveling up my endurance and vitality from there. So I'm wearing full plate armor, giant sword. I boost my stats. I walk in there and I just beat the ever-living shit out of anything that stands in my way. And it doesn't matter if I die 2-3 times to General Rodan, or if I have to fight the gargoyles 6 times because they spawn in 2 at a time. Yeah. The fact that I can overcome that challenge by hitting the thing with the stick. Yeah. That is what I like about the game.
Premium Souls experience.
Now, I will say, I'm enjoying going through with the astrologer, being a sorcerer, using that. And at some point, I will eventually, put some more time in. I've been playing some other games recently, but I'll put some more time in, and eventually, I'm sure I will beat it at some point. And when I go back, I'm going a straight strength build. I just want to, experience the sorcery because I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, and play the game the way you want to play it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody should put anybody down for playing with what is deemed the meta build.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I disagree with sorcery being the strongest. I really think it's miracles with the stupid black and white fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff is broken as fuck.
Yeah, especially if you have the light sword in one hand and the death sword in the other, you could just literally just go in and just start clearing
There's
out.
a light sword and a death sword?
Yeah. There's a light sword and there's a death sword.
You need to explore more.
I saw a video.
I have been exploring.
So now there's some coiled sword that has a Azure Ward built into it.
That's the God Killer sword.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, there's a dark sword and there's a light sword. So the dark sword does that you're talking about. It does the black ash. And then there's a light sword that does faith damage. So you can do both at the same time while dual wielding and just...
Well, is the light sword the one that has the cipher for the blade?
No.
No?
It's a different sword. You got to explore. That's the thing. The reason why I hinted in a little bit into magic because I do like the magic aspect of it, and when I do play the game and I beat it and I run through it again, I've already told myself this because I love the one thing I like about this game. You can literally make characters from any game and just basically put them in the game. Like I saw someone build Zoro from One Piece, and he looks amazing. But that's why I put a little bit of magic because when I die and I get rebirth, spoiler, sorry. I'm going to build Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. I'm going to build straight up Gandalf.
Or the people who fucking built Kanye West.
Yeah. Dude, someone built Shrek in the game, and he's a tank. Someone built Shrek in the game and made him a tank, and that was the funniest thing in the world to me. But the only reason why I had to do something in intelligence is because some weapons that should be mainly dex and strength that I feel personally strong about have that extra magic aspect of it, like the Meteor Katana, where I have to have a certain intelligence to use the down smash ability that uses a little bit of my FP. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing.
Well, I mean, that was pretty much everything stemming from the Dark Souls 3 DLCs was like that, where you had a game that was largely going to be strength dex, and then you had your sorcery build, your miracle build in Dark Souls 3, but there wasn't a lot of variety in weapons where they would have other weapon arts, as they're called in that game. I really feel like what we're going to end up seeing is some kind of DLC that'll have a PvP arena.
Hopefully.
We'll probably have some expanded world map.
Yes, please.
And it'll be some island for, like, a big PvP tournament where you can go around doing an NPC quest in order to get cool new weapons that will help you in the PvP side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end up seeing that.
Yeah.
I will say, I kind of want to go back to the whole open world aspect and what you guys said about this being one of the most amazing open world experiences for a game. Now, it's been a while since I've played it, but I do want to say that Shadows over Mordor also had a very good open world. It was a little more story-focused, a little more quote-unquote railroady in some aspects, but...
The Assassin's Creed formula that games have been copying for the last 10 years.
Exactly, but it did have a good open world. And I think this definitely exemplifies that here in Elden Ring, that whole open world concept. I wouldn't necessarily call it the best, because there have been some other games that I've just been really impressed with. The ability I can just go anywhere. And I think, I don't know if that's what you're getting at when you say, open world concept and the best. Like, what do you mean by that? What is your explanation of the best open world, and why?
So these are the qualities that I primarily look for in an open world game. Firstly, I don't like seeing out of bounds areas. I like the fact that the border of the map is the border of the playable area in which you are entailed to explore. Mm-hmm. When you look out into the distance and you see the Erd Tree, and you get closer to the Erd Tree and you start climbing up the world and you look back down, you see the former areas you're in. They're fully rendered in the game. You can go look down and see Stormvale Castle. You can look and see the Divine Tower by Caleb. You can see the big jar motherfucker sitting there posing at you. You see all of that and know, okay, I'm going to go there next. And you can physically walk to that location. Mm-hmm. And it's all in the game. There's no out-of-bound areas. Even areas that you think are out of bounds just end up being accessible through other means.
Okay.
Or the fact that instead of having cutscenes, right, where For example, when you first go down from the Misted Woods down the elevator into the city of Nokrin, that did not have to be a minute-long elevator ride, but it was intentionally to immerse you in showing you how far underground you are. And then when you crawl through the ruins and you get into the city of Nokrin, you look up and you see the roots of the Erd tree twinkling to form a night sky.
It was like a completely different world.
It's a world in a world.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is it expresses the cultures that these former places had. It shows the sheer variety and enemy types, the way the world is built.
In fact, I want to touch on that, right? I love that fact, because what you see is not what you get. You get more than what you see. If you explore all of the overworld map, right, and you just click on the button, oh, there's my map, there is still a dozen underground areas for you to go to.
Yeah, that you just haven't found yet.
And there's different access points to each underground area. You get to the underworld in like 3 different spots.
Well, you were even saying
there's more than that.
Earlier, it was either today or yesterday, you were even saying there, Logan, that I love this game so... I can't remember the exact words used, but it was, I love this game so much. You know, I go back and I'm playing it again with my character, and I'm finding things that I didn't see the first time.
Yeah, no, it's essentially... Let's take Stormvale Castle, for instance, right? Go there, play through it. Awesome, beat the boss, let's move on. Second character, go through it, play through it. Wait, I can go here? There's like an entire other area. What the hell? There's so much replayability to this game, because if you didn't discover something beforehand, and I guarantee you're not going to discover everything about an area for most of the areas the first time around, unless you are someone who just is really good at that. You're going to find new stuff that you didn't find out. With Stormvale Castle, I did quite literally do that. I found an area where you can hop on top of a roof, and then parkour all the way to this other part of the castle where you fight a bunch of banished knights who whoop the shit out of you, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I like about this world that incorporates with the open world aspect. Not everything you see in the castle is the limit. You can literally parkour from building to building, find like hidden gems, extra stone keys.
Well, and the game was designed that way intentionally. There's an area in Stormvale Castle where you have to, from one of the bonfires, hop up onto the rails of the side, parkour from roof to roof to get to a section to bring you down safely to one of the Spirit Tree Guardians in Stormvale Castle.
I did that one.
Yep, that's one of the things I'm talking about. I didn't even know the Ulcerated Tree Spirit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to get to it. There's the safe way where you can get to that ladder first, or you can parkour down the side and fight a bunch of rats before fighting a mini-boss.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that the Ulcerated Tree Spirit, that there was one in Stormvale Castle until my second playthrough. It's crazy.
Well, and it foreshadows a lot of stuff in that game, too, by showing the corpse of the giant down there with the tree spirit. We didn't know giants were in the game. We thought the trolls were giants. And they kept calling them trolls. I'm like, these aren't trolls, these are giants. Oh, no. There's giants.
I wanted to touch on that as well, because that's something that I was in love with, and I started to piece together some of the lore in my own head. I don't want to look up any of the lore. I want to experience it through the game by piecing things together through items descriptions and whatnot. It's not only that you find new areas through exploring that you didn't find before. When you go to those areas, it opens up completely new opportunities for other things. If you go back to the Round Table Hold after finding that giant corpse, Roger has new dialogue. It explains why his legs aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
And I did not know that the first time. It's crazy.
Because when I took the path that you just took in your second game, your game playthrough, and I was like, all right, let me upgrade my weapon before I go to the next area just for shits and giggles. I go back, and I see this new text of dialogue where it's not just, here's your ash, here's your weapon, show me arms. It's
about that, that death fragment or whatever.
It's like, what happened to your legs? And I was like, we can learn about this?
I know.
And he tells you the whole story, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Like, I really want to have a book pieced together from Martin just about the lore behind Elden Ring.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Not necessarily the events of the game, but tell us the things that happened before.
Yeah.
Through a story format of 3 mini books, right? One can take us through all of Limgrave. One can take us through the Sorcery School and Stormvale Castle. Liurnia. One can show us Caelid, right?
Well,
just as an intro series of books. And
there could be even more books, because there's got to be one on Nokron. There's got to be one on the mountaintops of the giants.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
You can easily make a 6-book series out of this thing.
Yeah.
Or you could follow some of the legendary characters in that, like the Rock Queen. Did you ever fight her?
Melania? Yeah, I loved her fight, but she's so strong. If you've not gotten to her before, be warned. She heals every time she hits you.
Oh yeah, I know. My friend, one night I was watching him
She's
play,
crazy.
and he kept getting so angry. He's like, I can't get close enough because every time I get close, she stabs, and then I lose health, and she regains it. There's no winning here, man. And I was like, yeah, you just gotta figure out your strats and figure out what's your strength.
Take a big sword and hit her.
Yeah.
But
well, not everybody does it.
so we're gonna go ahead and go for some closing thoughts here. Jason, you had something to say?
Yes, I did. And actually, it's a good closing thought is I think you kind of answered my question on the open world thing because I was wanting to play a little bit of devil's advocate with that and really get that concept and hear that from you guys. And that, to me, clarifies it. And I agree now. Yes.
Yeah,
probably the best open world experience that I have had.
The same way that Morrowind didn't give you the map markers, it told you walk down the road and take the path to the left.
Yep.
That's the same thing that Elden Ring's doing, but took it a step further. It took what Breath of the Wild did and took it a step forward. It's truly the next evolution in open world games, and I cannot wait to see what games take from this. Rather it be criticisms, or rather it just be some kind of development in the gaming space and evolve it further.
Speaking about that, since you're talking about open world, boy, I got another game that I'm super excited about, which I've done my research and I've seen videos. I don't know about you guys, but I was a Lego kid at heart. The new Lego Luke Skywalker trilogy is open world. You can actually... Side note, sorry, I got distracted because open world has been going in my head nonstop.
An open world Lego Star Wars.
You can fight the Death Star. You can destroy battle cruisers. You can land inside of battle cruisers. You can customize your ships. This game is going to change Lego games forever, and I'm just excited about it. But I'm glad that games like Elden Ring and like Sekiro and a couple of other ones were able to open this format to games that you would never think before. Because back in the day, it was you played Lego game. It was like, okay, there's a main hub point. You go do your mission, you come back, you got to redo the missions. But now that the way that open world has affected the games, the idea of like, not even just in Elden Ring, but like how I've been doing research about the new Lego game was like, you can be on Naboo and you can explore parts of Naboo that you've never seen before or stuff in the game. Like you can go visit Luke Skywalker's house. You can visit the spot where Anakin killed the Tusken Raiders. You can see all that stuff.
That should be a topic for another episode is... bringing original ideas and concepts into pre-created worlds.
Yeah.
Because that's got some double-edged swords that we've been seeing in the media as of late.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and bring this episode to a close. I am Zach from Nerd Culture's Dead. Jason, where can I find you?
You can find me at Totally Online Gaming Group YouTube channel, at our Twitch channel, which is just Togg DM, Toggdm. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at Togg Roleplay.
Oscar, where can I find you and your big-ass nose?
You can find me at Emmanuel Rivera on Instagram. I'm open to chat about anything nerdy. I'm always down to do a podcast. I'm also playing the D&D group that Jason's hosting, which has been spectacular, by the way. You guys should really check it out on YouTube or any platform that we have it streaming on. We're willing to make this thing big for you guys. We want to be the next Critical Role. We'll see what happens.
That's a big statement.
Listen, if you don't put it out there in the universe, you don't got a chance. But
just a note, Oscar said that, not me.
All right, Logan, where can we find you, and what's the name of the YouTube campaign?
He wasn't prepared for this.
I'm just with this guy, Jason over here.
His papa.
My papa. And the YouTube group, it's called Togg DM. The campaign is called Out of Our Ascension.
That is correct.
Yes, I've done my homework.
Episode's coming out every Wednesday at 3.
Yes, every Wednesday at 3 on our YouTube channel. Audio only for now, but in a couple more months, we're hoping to have everything set up in our new studio that we will then be live streaming it.
And you get to see our pretty little faces.
Yes.
You mean Oscar's pretty face?
Yes. Just Oscar. We're just going to
so
one camera
cute.
on Oscar.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for the listen, and have a good one. Bye.